Good to have Chris Mannix here, host of the Chris Mannix Show, weekday afternoons on NBC Sports Radio, the 24-hour sports talk network, the mobile app. Check it all out. Chris Mannix, how are you, pal?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Should be a fun game tonight, although no Joel Embiid in the lineup for the 76ers. But let's first talk a little bit about the Celtics. Last time we talked, this team continues to roll, and it seems like, they're not on that streak that they were. But, man, this team is really have they exceeded expectations for the people in Boston?
Oh, absolutely. When Gordon Hayward went down, I think you probably would have been satisfied with a team that was, mid to high 40s in terms of wins, 4 or 5 seed in the East, maybe win a first-round series at best. But this team has been dynamic. It's been everything this city could have asked for and more. And it begins what they do defensively. It's astonishing how good Boston is defensively. They came into the season and they lost their 2 top defensive players. They lost Avery Bradley, who's number 1,
right,
and Jay Crowder, a versatile guy in that front court. They lose those 2 guys, and suddenly they go from a middle-of-the-pack defensive team to, I think, still the best defensive team in basketball. So it's really amazing that Boston's able to be this good this fast. Couple that with the stunning play of Jason Tatum, who has come in as the 3rd overall pick and started every game, played 30-plus minutes in all of them. It really has been something to watch.
You got the Sixers coming in tonight who have played, I guess people around here think that they've played better than the expectations. They won't have Embiid tonight, but last night we saw the hack of Simmons, and they sent them to the line over 60 times last night. You see a long night in Boston tonight. Will they employ a similar strategy?
Yeah, if I had to guess, I would say yes. Brad Stevens has long been among the coaches that says they hate the hack or whatever rule, but he employs it like so many other coaches because it's a sound strategy. If your player can't make free throws, he did it to Andre Drummond, he did it to Dwight Howard, and I'm sure he'll do it to Ben Simmons, maybe even to a cartoonish-like degree if Simmons can't make those free throws. And look, we know that's the wart in his game, not just free throw shooting, but really shooting anything outside of 15 feet. He's not very good at this point, but I believe that it's going to get there. He has the talent to be a really special player in this league, and he's going to have some tough nights, particularly when teams start to hack him, as it seems like they're starting to do. But I think he's going to turn into a terrific franchise player.
Yeah, he had 31 points and 18 rebounds last night and was only less than about 50% from the line. Let me ask you, Chris, you've seen a lot of great players, and I don't know where you put Ben Simmons right now, but the fact that he's this good with literally no desire to shoot the ball from the outside, is that surprising that teams have not really figured out a way to make him shoot the ball from the outside?
Well, they're starting to. And, look, it's like in baseball when a guy goes through a team's pitching order once, they start to figure him out a little bit. And it's the same thing in basketball as teams are scouting him and trying to find different ways to defend him. They're starting to force him from the outside. Everybody goes under screens against him right now, and now you're starting to see the hack of Simmons with him at the moment. So teams are going to start to really adjust. He's going to have to adjust accordingly. I don't expect his jump shot to improve this year. Off season is when you tweak your jump shots, when you make your improvements as an NBA player. But he's going to have to find a way to score going up against defenses that are sagging against him. He's going to have to find a way to continue to be a playmaker. The upside for Philly is he is one of the most talented young kids that I've seen coming out of the draft really since LeBron. So I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities to make big plays.
About quarter pole through the season here, right after Thanksgiving. We're cruising towards Christmas is when the season really starts to pick up. But we talked about Boston on top of the East and Golden State and Houston over there. But how about Oklahoma City? Are they going to turn things around and get their act together?
Yeah, look, I'm not ready to panic yet on Oklahoma City. We said coming into the season that a team that's trying to incorporate 3 players who were in the top 20 last year in terms of usage rate together was going to have some struggles. I don't know why we're surprised that they are struggling. Oklahoma City is playing great defense. They're top 5 in the NBA in defensive efficiency. They just have been brutally bad for the most part offensively. And, that's on Billy Donovan, who I think has had a very good 2 years as a head coach in the NBA. He's going to have to figure things out. Maybe that means a conversation with Carmelo Anthony about going to the bench and playing with that second unit. But, look, go back to Miami in 2010-11. They were a mess in the first couple of months of the season. Remember the first month where they were like 9-8, and they're bumping Eric Spoelstra, and everybody's talking about Spoelstra maybe getting fired? This takes time to work this thing out. And if we get to January, February, and we're still having the same conversation about Oklahoma City, then maybe we have to talk about a trade for somebody before the deadline. But right now, just after Thanksgiving, I think there's still too much room for Oklahoma City to grow.
So what's the story with what happened in Memphis? Fizdale, a guy who, I remember last year in the playoffs, he went out there and really backed his players in that playoff series. 7-13, though, things not going their way. They've lost 9 in a row. So what's the story with what happened there?
Well, I mean, a lot of it boils down to a toxic relationship between Marc Gasol and David Fizdale. Now, both player and coach have significant egos. I mean, Gasol, he's got a planet-sized ego, and I think that you can characterize Fizdale as a sort of a large moon when it comes to an ego. I mean, there was a rock and a hard place type of situation. I mean, Gasol really cringed at some of the public criticisms that Fizdale gave him. And, look, if you ask players, they remember none of the compliments that a coach gives them publicly. They remember every single one of the public criticisms. And Fizdale had some comments about Gasol and the European style of basketball that I was told he took personally. And, it came to the head on Sunday against the Nets when he sat out the final 12 minutes. So, I didn't agree with the move. I think it's a dangerous game you play to, just basically allow a locker room to mutiny against the coach. And plus, Gasol's 32 years old. I mean, are you really going to build around Marc Gasol long term? I mean, he's been a phenomenal player and he's an icon in Memphis, but at some point you have to make tough decisions, and trading Marc Gasol might be that tough decision that Memphis has to make.
All right, we're spending a couple minutes here with Chris Mannix talking some NBA from NBC Sports Radio. Chris, I guess last thing we kind of look at here is the Clippers, and with Blake Griffin going down, what's their move? What do they do? They're 8-11 right now, but they have won 3 in a row. But where do you see this franchise that seemingly can't ever get it right going?
Yeah, from what I'm told, they're committed to keeping this group together, and that's in a response to all the gossip that's out there about maybe trading DeAndre Jordan. We'll see where they're at in January, February when Blake Griffin is set to come back. But I do think they have to explore trading Jordan. He can be a free agent at the end of the year, and I just don't know if he fits into what the Clippers want to do long term. They want to be an up-tempo, offensive-oriented team, and as great a defensive player as Jordan is, he's extremely limited on the offensive end. Do they really want to commit, $150, $160 million to a DeAndre Jordan over the lifetime of a deal? That's going to be a tough call. The other question is, how long is Doc Rivers in this for? I mean, Doc did not want to rebuild when he was in Boston. That's a big reason why he wasn't coaching the Celtics after they left. Does he want to rebuild in L.A.? That's something that we're going to find out about the next couple of months.
By the way, Monday night, Cleveland and Philly, they were an underdog in that game. Was that LeBron's way of saying, like, how dare you?
Yeah, I mean, the Cavaliers are very uneven at this point. Their defense has been great for the last 9 games, but before that it was atrocious. So they're very Jekyll and Hyde right now. LeBron's playing a lot of minutes. He's 37 minutes a game. He led the league in minutes last year, I know, but at some point you have to remember that he is a human being, and he's going to be 33 years old in December, and I don't know if he can keep this up over the course of a season. So I'm let's put it this way. I'm more concerned about the Cavs now than I've been at any point in time in the last 4 years. This is a different team with different flaws, a team that doesn't have Kyrie Irving. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, as a lot of people say, that they'll get out of the East.
All right, it was a great atmosphere. Cleveland wins tonight. Another good one in Boston. Chris Mannix, weekday afternoons on NBC Sports Radio, the 24-hour Sports Talk Network. Download their mobile app. Thanks, Chris. Enjoy the game tonight, pal.
You got it.